What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today we're going to take a look at the polls. I think every Monday I'm going to take a look at polls. So now I will still talk about Social Security. We'll still talk about some of the other issues, but I want to look at the direction of the country because I think that's really important when it comes to how people are feeling about the current presidency. So that's what I want to focus on in this video. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video. If you're watching this video and you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to take a look at the polls. So basically surveys that have been done across the country from different pollsters, and we're going to see how the American people are grading our current situation. Okay, so first thing I want to look at is job approval. So job approval for the president. Now, when it comes to job approval, this is Real Clear Politics. They do an aggregate of polls. So they take all the different pollsters that are out there and they will average those polls, and then they'll give you the average of the average, if you want to look at it that way. And so let me just show you this here. When it comes to the average of polling, we have minus 2.3%. So that is unfavorable. Unfavorables are higher than the favorable. That's what that's showing us here. And so basically we have disapproval of 49.9% and then approval of 47.6%. And so let's look at the top three pollsters here. So we have the Wall Street Journal, and this was conducted between 3/27 and 4/1. We have 1,500 registered voters, and the approval was 46, the disapproval was 51, and that spread was -5. When we're looking at the Daily Mail, this was conducted between 3/31 and 4/3, 1,000 registered voters. We have approval of 53. We have disapproval of 47. That spread was +6. When we're looking at Rasmussen, this was conducted between 3/31 and 4/6. 1,500 likely voters, 48% approve, 51% disapprove. That spread was -3. Then we'll look at one last one here. Reuters Ipsos, we have between 3/31 and 4/2, 1,486 adults. We have 43% approve, 53% disapprove, and the spread on that was -10. So looking at the last spreads, -10, -3, +6, -5, and so the average of averages is -2.3. Okay, so let's look at the congressional approval. So look at the spread here. This is pretty crazy. So the spread is -36. So when we're looking at approval rating is 26.6. Disapproval rating is 62.6. That is crazy how high that is. Now let's look at the individual pollsters here. So we have the Economist YouGov poll. This was between 3/30 and 4/1. This is 1,465 registered voters. We have approval of 25, disapproval of 54. That gives us a spread of -29. We have the Harvard-Harris poll. This was conducted between 3/26 and 3/27, 2,746 registered voters. We have an approval of 36, a disapproval of 52. The spread there was -16. We have the Gallup poll. Gallup showing between 2/3 and 2/16, 1,000 adults, approval 29, disapproval 65. The spread there was -36. And so you can see not a lot of people have confidence in Congress, but we have to understand we voted for these people. And if you continue to vote for people like this, you're not going to have confidence. So you really need to know these politicians, know who they are, know what they're standing for, and hold them accountable. Make them do their job. And if you don't, then you're going to have numbers that are going to look like this. And we're the blame for this because we're allowing politicians to get in there and not do anything. Okay, let's go ahead and look at inflation. So the job approval, when it comes to inflation, we have the Real Clear Politics. Their average is -13. Let's look at some of the individual pollsters. We have the Economist between 3/30 and 4/1, 1,465 registered voters, approval 42, disapproval 54. The spread there is -12. Looking at the Wall Street Journal, a poll between 3/27 and 4/1, 1,500 registered voters, approval 40, disapproval 55. The spread there is -15. Looking at CBS News. CBS News polling between 327 and 328, 2,609 adults, 44% approve, 56% disapprove. The spread there is -12. And do one last one here. Harvard Harris, that was conducted between 326 and 327, 2,746 registered voters, 43% approval, 57% disapproval. The spread there is -14. Okay, now looking at the current administration's approval when it comes to the economy, if we zoom in here, we see the spread here is -9.8. That would be disapproval. Now let's look at some of the individual pollsters. We have Reuters Ipsos. This was conducted between 3:31 and 4:02. We have 1,486 adults. 37% approve, 52% disapprove. The spread there was -15. Looking at the Economist YouGov poll, that was conducted between 3:30 and 4:01. 1,465 registered voters. Approval there was 46, disapproval 50. The spread there was -4. Looking at the Wall Street Journal, this was conducted between 3:27 and 4:01. 1,500 registered voters. 44% approve, 52% disapprove. The spread there was -8. Looking at CBS, this was conducted between 3:27 and 3:28, 2,609 adults. Approval there is 48, disapproval is 52. The spread there is -4. Okay, now the last poll, and I think this poll is more important than all the polls that we've really been talking about. It's the direction of the country. The direction of the country. So do people feel that we're going in the right direction or the wrong direction? So let's look at Real Clear Politics first. And so Real Clear Politics is showing a spread of -10.1%. So right direction, 44.9%. Wrong direction, 52%. Now looking at some of the latest pollsters here, we have Rasmussen. This was conducted between 3:30 and 4:03. 1,746 likely voters. We have 45% says we're going in the right direction. 50% says we're on the wrong track. That spread is -5. We're looking at Reuters Ipsos. This was conducted between 3:31 and 4:02. And this is 1,486 adults. Right direction, 32%. Wrong direction, 53%. The spread there is -21. Looking at the Economist YouGov poll, this was conducted between 3:30 and 4:01. 1,465 registered voters. Right direction, 40%. Wrong direction, 51%. The spread there is -11. We'll do one more here. Wall Street Journal. This was conducted between 3:27 and 4:01. 1,500 registered voters. Right direction, 41%. Wrong direction, 51%. The spread there is -10. Okay, and one more illustration that I want to show you guys here. And if you're looking at this, and this was right about January 20th here. So if you're looking at this, you're saying, okay, well, it looks like we're doing much better since President Trump became president. Well, this is when President Biden became president. And then we can back up a little bit. This right here is when Obama became president. You see there was actually a tie right here. So it got down to the right track, wrong track was like 50-50. And so what we're seeing here is when we see presidents come into office, generally they get that grace period. And then we start seeing what we saw here, and we'll look at Biden as an example. So you get that grace period, and then this happens. We start seeing it go back up, and this was the height. So this was in 2022. This is when inflation was at all-time high. So in June, July of 2022. And so we see that. That's the pattern. Now, one more thing to note. These polls, I think pretty much all of these polls were done before we have the tariff talk, okay? Before we start seeing the market take a dive, because most of them were done before April 2nd. We might have had a few that were done after that, but for the most part, this polling is not reflecting what's going on in the stock market right now. And so when we get some of the polls next week, it's probably going to reflect the stock market basically crashing. And so how are people going to feel about the direction of the country at that point? I think we're going to see it drop even more when it comes to the confidence of people and how they feel if we're going on the right track. So basically, it's kind of the reverse, right? So instead of 52%, it might go up to 59% or 60% just based on what's going on in our current economy. Okay, so that's all I have for this video. However, I'm going to do a poll. So I want to know, do you feel like we're on the right direction or the wrong direction? So that poll, there'll be a link. It'll be in the comment section. It'll be pinned at the very top. So just click on that link. It'll take you over to the poll. I want to see how you guys feel about the direction of the country. We saw how Real Clear Politics, the average of all these different pollsters. I want to do a poll on my own. I think I'm going to start doing this every Monday as well. So let me know how you feel about that. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.